What's going on, hybrid shooters? It's Jason Vong, currently in Japan right now, and today I want to be talking about my favorite focal length, the 85mm. Now, to most people, this probably wouldn't be their second lens, nor their third lens, probably not even fourth. Hell, I probably went through 10 lenses before I got my first 85mm. I would probably say the 50mm is a lot of people's second lens just because it is the most common lens to recommend. And then after that, probably a very versatile zoom lens like a 24-70 or 24-105, if not a pancake lens just because it's incredibly tiny. But an 85mm prime? Not really. I'm currently traveling around Japan right now, and I hardly see any tourists shooting with an 85mm. So that's why today I want to share with you guys some of the reasons why I highly recommend an 85mm prime. Sponsored by Zeiss? So I feel like I should address this really quickly just because I know there will be people already leaving comments down below before watching the whole entire video thinking that I'm just here to sell them a Zeiss Spottis lens. In this video, I'm actually not going to be talking too much about the characteristics of this specific lens. Rather, I'll be talking about the concepts of using the 85mm lens. So while I am partnered up with Zeiss to bring you guys monthly educational content, at the end of the day, they are educational. A lot of it is just to improve your photography and your videography, not so much a sales pitch on the lenses. So take what you'll learn today about the 85mm and apply it to whatever 85 you choose to buy. But I have to say, if you are a Sony shooter, the Zeiss Spottis 85 is currently on sale right now. Just saying, just saying. Boom, table of contents. So we're gonna be talking about the 85mm look based on different sensor sizes. So how you can get the 85mm look if you're not using a full frame camera. And then we're gonna be talking about the practical application of an 85mm and how you can use it for more than just portraits. And then when you're somewhat convinced, we're gonna be talking about what you can expect when you first pick up the 85mm. And if you can't buy an 85mm, what are some of your alternative options? And then lastly, we're gonna talk a little bit about how an 85mm prime compares to a telephoto zoom lens like a 70-200. So just a heads up, we are talking about using an 85mm on a full frame camera. You see, 85mm on a crop sensor APS-C camera is a tad bit too close in my opinion. You'll be roughly getting about 130mm. Although this is not a bad setup, and I know there are a lot of people out there who are using this setup for portraits, it does require you to step further back than normal to get your shot. So if you're shooting with an APS-C crop sensor camera and you want that 85mm look, then you want to consider something like a 50mm or a 56mm for your APS-C camera. And if you're shooting with a micro four thirds sensor camera, then you want to consider the 42.5mm lens. What I love about the 85mm lens, specifically the 85mm f1.8 lenses, is that they all tend to be pretty damn tiny, making them super easy to carry around. For sizing reference, here's how big my head is and here's how small the lens is. So while it's not the most recommended lens to pick up, it is still highly regarded in the wedding and portrait community. The 85mm is said to be the most flattering for human subjects, especially their faces. So because of that, most beginner photographers assume that the 85mm is just for portraits after hearing about that particular application so much. But it's actually very handy in a lot of different photography and video situations. My good friend Professor Hines, while he specializes in a lot of photography genres, does a lot of street photography with an 85mm lens. Now, most beginners have this misconception that street photography has to be done with a 35mm, when in reality, you can really use whatever you want. And Professor Hines puts it the best.
So the way that I tell people is, when you walk into a store like B&H, when you look at the box, doesn't matter who makes the lens. On that box, it says aperture, it has the focal length. Nowhere on that lens does it say landscape lens, wedding lens, portrait lens. People have given it these classifications just because. You know, an 85mm, people see it as a portrait lens. Why not try it for street? Why not try it for landscapes? Don't classify yourself in this little box to where, oh, I have a 50mm, I have to just use that for street, or I have to just use that for portraits. Expand that. If you see everybody using a particular lens for everything but this, and this, do that people aren't doing. That's how you get different photos from everybody else. If you know your gear, you're comfortable with it, and you know what type of images you're gonna capture with that specific lens, you can utilize whatever lens you want to for any application.
And we did an amazing segment on street photography, which I published just last week. You can click on the link up here to queue it up to check it out later. So yeah, just keep in mind an 85mm is not limited to portraits. You can use it for street photography, product shots, animal portrait photography, really whatever you can and however you can make the 85mm work for you. For me personally, I love using this focal length for landscape for whatever reason. It's just something that I naturally gravitated towards over time shooting with this lens. You see, the 85mm has a look. It somehow magically makes everything more interesting. I can literally point at anything, find a good angle, and my god, what a shot. It could literally make a boring thing look mediocre. It also has the ability to make things not view too far away thanks to the lens compression. This lens can single out your focus, no pun intended, and creates attention on it. Check out this shot I took with a 24mm versus an 85mm of Mount Fuji in Japan. The wider photo looks pretty cool, but the closer photo hyper focuses on the red autumn leaves. It seemingly brought Mount Fuji closer as well. You can of course take the wider shot and crop it like crazy to get similar results, but it's gonna look pretty bad. And let me tell you about this great photo I've gotten with the 85mm. I had initially framed for the red autumn leaves and Mount Fuji in the background. I didn't want the cars in the shot, but I saw this couple positioned perfectly right in between the cars. I knew I had to take the shot right away. I quickly moved my focus point to them and snapped a few shots before they were done taking their selfies. This was all unplanned, pure coincidence. And this ended up being my most favorite shot from that day. I am incredibly proud of this one. And one thing you might have noticed when I enlarged the area where the couple is, they are tack sharp. Had I shot that same photo with a wider lens, that couple would have been like this tiny. They literally would have been lost in the pixels. But again, the 85mm just draws the attention on them, draws the attention to the leaves and the mountains. And I apply a lot of these same principles when I'm shooting videos with the 85mm. And if this is gonna be your first 85mm lens outside of your kit lens, you will soon discover what real sharpness looks like. Ugh, do I really need to talk about the bokeh? Things just look super creamy and dreamy with this lens. Oh, boy, that sounded weird. So, what is it like to be using an 85mm for the first time? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it because you're gonna be taken aback how close everything is. It's gonna feel incredibly frustrating, especially when you find yourself often in tight spaces where you can't back up anymore to get your shot. To be quite frank with you, when I first experienced this look, this focal length, I was kind of turned off by it for a couple of years. It was with a 50mm lens on an APS-C camera. I actually made a whole video talking about it, link right up here. Right up here. Long story short though, at the time I was simply just a beginner. I didn't really understand how to use my camera, nor did I understand the concept of focal lengths. But when I visited an actual 85mm on a full frame setup a few years later, knew exactly what I was getting it for, I started falling in love with all of the photos that I was taking with that lens. So trust me, once you start getting the results that you want with this lens, it's gonna be worth it. Over time, you will instinctively know how far you need to back up to get your shot. For me personally, I try to make the shot work with an 85mm lens, and I am consistently rewarded with great results. And I love finding ways to incorporate foreground elements into my shots just because it adds so much more to the photo. But what if you can't buy an 85mm right now? What can you start doing to achieve very similar looks? Now, you might have a zoom lens in your kit that has telephoto capabilities. You can probably zoom up to 70 or 75mm. Again, APS-C shooters, that's 50 to 56mm for you. While the aperture may not be 1.8, you'll still be getting that similar look and that compression at that range. I shot this photo here with a zoom lens at 55mm on a crop sensor body, and damn does it look good. So another big question that you might have is what's the difference between using the 85mm f1.8 and getting a telephoto zoom lens like a 70-200? Honestly, it just comes down to form factor and size. The 85mm is a lot smaller and lighter and easier to carry around, plus it's a lot more discreet compared to the 70-200. Though the 70-200mm does offer you a lot more flexibility just because it's a zoom lens, and the 85mm is a prime lens which forces you to move your body. Again, it doesn't really matter which lens you end up choosing, just pick the one that fits your photography style. If anything, just take the principles of what you learned today about the 85mm lens and apply it to any telephoto lens of your choosing. Make sure to tag me on Instagram at JasonVMedia when you're about to purchase your 85mm lens, and definitely tag me in the photos that you've taken with the lens on Instagram as well. Let me know in the comments down below, what other focal length should I be talking about on this channel. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.